Hey everybody, Mike Molina here. Well, if you haven't heard, there's an article going or circulating around out from Zillow that was published back on October 30th, which is a scaremongering, fear-mongering article written by a woman named Nicole Bouchard. I do not know who this person is, but she doesn't know anything about anything. And I would say to you that if you have ever been willing to sit through a long video from me, this would be the one to do it, because this article is making the rounds. It's scaring people. It was sent to me by a friend early this morning, and I just thought it was a random thing. And then in my daily update with MBS Highway, and then in our manager meeting, and it's been the talk of the town, and not in a good way. So I'm going to give you some tools to combat this, because this sort of article is the sort of thing that kills the industry and just shuts people down. And you have to have the information and be armed to combat this. So I'm going to walk you through some things. First of all, let me just share my screen with you what this article said. I'm not going to read you the whole article. I'm just going to skim through it. So this person said, if you buy now, it can take 13 and a half years to make a profit on your home sale. That is so egregiously false. I don't even have the words for it. It's just shocking. And she goes through here and talks about different things. A 3% down, they use a $400,000 loan amount as their base. And then a 3% down payment will take 13 years and 6 months. A 5% down payment will take you 13 years and 3 months, and so on and so forth, and blah, 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 and on and on and on. And everything is absolutely wrong. And just, she talks about the areas that take the longest time to recoup, and the places that take you more or less time to make a profit. And then there's this chart down here, and you can pick your different down payment amounts and the years to make a profit will change accordingly, with interest, without interest. I don't know why anybody would do that. And she says that they use the Zillow Home Value Index, the ZHVI, and that's how they came with these numbers. But the thing that's really problematic is that they don't share their methodology for actually calculating any of this, and they base it off of a 7% mortgage rate, and just. It's unbelievable. So let's get into it. And I want to take the most conservative approach so that you can have the shutdown argument of the century with your clients and prospects. So there can be no discussion that this is just a ridiculous article. So we're going to go to the MBS Highway buy versus rent tool. Okay. And going back to the article, we're going to use the most expensive or the area that takes the longest time to turn a profit. We're going to use Cleveland, Ohio, which according to her is going to take 22 years and 10 months just to turn a profit. Okay, just to break even. They even define turning a profit as breaking even in this article. So buy versus rent. So that Cleveland, Ohio is in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, wherever that is, and we're going to use their loan amount of $400,000. Okay, so we're going to go through each of these one at a time. So the problem also with the article is that it doesn't take into account the cost of renting. It doesn't take into account write-offs for taxes or anything else. It just says it's going to take this long to turn a profit. And we're not going to tell you how we calculated that. We're just going to tell you it's based off of the Zillow Home Value Index, which makes no sense. So we're actually going to input the information for rentals, and we have that information for the county, and it's $37.34 a month. Okay. So, and then we added some renter's insurance. Now, as far as rent goes, so in this area, okay, so the national rent renewal, not new rents, but rent renewals. You're already a tenant and your landlord's renewing your lease, and so they raise your rent. The national average is 4.5%. We're going to be really conservative and just use 3%, just because we want to be as conservative as possible and give as much leeway as we possibly can. Okay. So now going to the property. So we're using $400,000. Okay. The tax rate in that county is 2.51%. Wow, that's some pretty hefty taxes. That's big in California. We've got estimated amounts for our homeowners insurance and annual property tax increase of 2% per year. Pretty aggressive. And repairs and HOA fees, etc., about $166 a month. We're also adding in 6% for cost to sell, realtor fees, commissions, etc. All right. So we've accounted for everything, and we've taken a very conservative approach. Now let's get into the loan. So the loan amount, this defaults to 10%. We're going to be conservative and go with just 5% down. All right. So 5% down, that'll give us a loan amount of $380,000, 30-year conventional fixed rate. They said 7%. Let's use 8% just to really drive the point home. Okay. 8%. Okay. So they're going to have mortgage insurance because we're putting down just 5% down payment. So based off of a FICO score of 720, 739, a higher FICO would give lower mortgage insurance. A lower FICO would give higher mortgage insurance. So we're splitting the baby down the middle and calling it using a 720 FICO. All right. And closing costs for this loan around $8,000. Okay. So now let's go down to the home ownership part. So years before selling. So we just want to take a look at the first 9 or 10 years. So we have 9 years in here. Okay. We get into the appreciation rate. So we can use a custom appreciation rate, or we can use the forecasted appreciation rate. The historical appreciation rate in this area is 2.97%. The forecasted appreciation rate, according to Zillow, okay, is 2.7%. Okay. So we're going to use that. And then we want to know what the borrower's income tax bracket. Well, to qualify for a loan amount of this size, you would need to be in at least a 22% tax bracket. So that's what we're going to use, a 22% tax bracket. Okay. And let's see. All right. So when we do all of that and we show our results, so check this out. So first of all, remember that rent goes up. Mortgage payments stay constant. Okay. And the most important thing to remember about this entire exercise here that I'm showing you is that this assumes that we never refinance, we never make any additional principal payments at all, and we are stuck with this 8% interest rate for 9 years straight running. Okay. Which we all know is a silly assumption, but even if it's true, we still come out on top. So if we remember, we're taking into account all of our costs, and we're using a very conservative appreciation rate. We're using Zillow's appreciation rate, right? So when you take that into account, our starting home value, $400,000, forecasted appreciation rate, 2.7%. So estimated value after 9 years is $507. And then we have amortization gain. That's how much we gain from having paid it down. Okay. And then when we come down here, we have cost to sell, about $30,000. We have tax benefit of almost $50,000 over that 9-year period. Okay. So the borrower is saving $50,000 almost on their income taxes over that 9-year period because of all the write-offs. Look how long before it goes green. The first year, they lose money, $9,300. At the beginning of year 2, they're already in the green. So and remember, we use an 8% interest rate. We use a very low rent renewal rate of only 3%, which really doesn't come into the turning a profit on a home, but it's great for comparison purposes. We use Zillow's own forecasted rate. They say that nationally the appreciation rate is somewhere between 4 and 5%, but we use the appreciation rate specifically for this county, according to them. Okay, and a very low tax bracket. And we used a very aggressive property tax amount and a property tax increase amount. This could not be a more conservative estimate. And even at 8% interest rate, which we never refinance over 9 years, in year 2, we're in the green by $7,900. So I don't know how they do math or how that individual at Zillow did math, but that article is just so egregious, and you need to have this information. And the best part of all is if you need one of these rent versus own comparisons, you could even call it a profitability chart if you want on a home, because you don't have to use the rent, but it's great to show people, hey, look, your rent goes up every year, okay, but your mortgage payment stays the same, and actually it's probably going to go down when you refinance in a year. But anyway, there you are. There's no arguing with that number. Nobody can say anything to that. It doesn't get more conservative. So when you hear about this article, if you want one of these sheets to show people for whatever area you're in, I'm more than happy to produce it. We have got to shut stuff like this down, and we've got to shut it down hard, because this is what hurts our industry so much. That'll about do it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, you can download all the slides and the graphics that I use in my videos, the video from today and videos that I've done in the past, by clicking the red button below this video, which will take you to my Google Docs page where you can download anything that you want. Thanks so much again. Please be sure to like and share, and have a wonderful day.